know. Okay, so this is uh, so the focus of this very webinar is very simple. So I'm going to talk a little bit of the role of a higher institution of learning in fostering entrepreneurial education. And this is a very important, what is it, a very important topic because well, the role of higher education in every country, it's more than, you know, the question of, graduated students, with certificates and so, and that. So, and especially Finland, it's well defined in the legal status of universities, and especially University of Applied Sciences, that we have to be agent of economic growth. So how do we do that? So, so today is not that much of looking at, concepts or theories of the role of higher institution of learning in fostering entrepreneurial education, but most to look at practices. And I also include policy here because the practices that are being what is it held in universities are well defined, by the every country's Ministry of Education or Board of Education, and so. So I will bring in the case of Finland, and I think it's quite interesting because we have a special a special what is the position when it comes to entrepreneurial education. Although most of the method is not, we're not developed in Finland, but how they were implemented. So we have a lot of sources. Uh, what is it? Uh, a lot of sources regarding that, and also because in Finland we are very open. We are not that traditional, or and so we are always ready to innovate. And if you look at the history of the country, you will see that many things were firstly adopted in this country. So that culture is very important. So we've become a test bed for so many things, that happens in Europe. So I will look at the case of Lapland, University of Applied Sciences, which I know very well, and I have been next year I will be 30 years working on the subject of entrepreneurial university and entrepreneurial education in Finland. So we have a lot of experience in that, and this is something I will be sharing here. So entrepreneurial education policy in higher education institute was one thing that we will cover from the policy point of view, and then again we will look at also uh, that from the point of practices. And and looking at practices, we'll look at teachers, the role of teachers or professors, and few things that I have actually picked up to really support uh, these or to really present uh, how uh, entrepreneur education is practiced, in Finland and also in our school, and a few very important things. And then, of course, it's important also to look at the pedagogical approaches that support those practices or that make those practices possible. And I pick three very important factors. This is adventure-based learning, or what you may call experiential also. But adventure, it's experiential, but it's a different kind of what is it, experience. And then collaborative learning and collaborative knowledge production. I know we have been looking into co-productions and so and that, but I would also present it how it is done in Finland. because in Finland, it's 99% of the time students they work in group. So studies are performed in group, not on an individual level. And when a student wants to work alone, it's something that you know they have to ask the permission for. So everything is done in a collaborative way. And then the role of research and development and innovation, integration in the learning process. This is also very important, and I will explain that as part of the practices of entrepreneurial education at our school. So this is the generic objective of the very course. So, and I think that and this will also apply to the other two webinars coming. So the course is designed to offer knowledge on the principles and dynamics of entrepreneurial education in higher education of learning, and also present best practices, that can stand as a benchmark, and also will offer practical insight to those good practices, so that you can use it to motivate improvement of entrepreneurial education in your own education, in your own institute or university. And to continue with that, I want to specify that today's presentation, or even the other presentation that I'm having, have two audience: academic staff and students. So, and academic staff, it's I think this very apply, because we all work, in universities, and we all what is it, one way or the other, are part of facilitate entrepreneurial learning. I don't know from the point of my school anyone who is professors or academic staff who do not participate or facilitate, entrepreneurial learning. So, so, but from the student point of view, I think it's important because anyway, you are in charge. Even though there is a curriculum, there is a process, there is a law, you are in charge of your own learning. And today's presentation will also give you insights on the options if you if you are taking the part of entrepreneurial learning. But I don't know, because in my school it's not an option. Everyone has to participate in the entrepreneurial learning process. So students get education on that, whether you are from engineering, healthcare, social worker, everyone participates. But the business students have more entrepreneurial learning than other students from other units, and another thing, the business faculty is not independent. All faculties are integrated to other faculties. So that to make business education and entrepreneurial learning, available to every student. So students have a lot, because understanding the path into which we deliver entrepreneurial learning, you will not only get insight, but to what is it to have options on how to manage your own, or what kind of entrepreneurial learning path you will choose to achieve your your goal your goal. Because everything is not of course the end goal is that students what is it have a startup, but of course the entrepreneurial learning, it's also what is it, it's a very important skill and attitude, or or behavior that everyone should have. So there is a lot today that students can get, in a way to to support the choices of their own learning path in their respective institution. So, like I said, a lot of investment has been made in Finland on entrepreneurship education, and every level of education. So entrepreneurship education has a big task to strengthen the partnership between school and working life and to implement entrepreneurship in education. So we always, so this is well emphasized in everything we do. You know, schools are measured to not only that students graduate, but how they get employed, how many companies are created, and how many innovation are created. So there are so much, not only that you publish research and you know, and so it's also about what kind of entrepreneurial outcome, you know, the school is able to produce. And every part of our education, 50% must support entrepreneurial learning. 50%, and we are evaluated by that, and we get our money by that. And I will talk about the, you know, the 50% later. You know how that 50% is practiced. And please, if you have any question or there's something that I didn't explain well, please unmute yourself and ask questions. You are free to do that. Um, this is a very good picture of Finnish education, and so you can see how it comes down to supporting you know, supporting entrepreneurship. Uh, and today there are different way. Excuse me. There are different way entrepreneurship is supported. You know, from this level to this level, and so they have a different way. But of course, it's more structured in higher institution of learning. One thing, you know, like I was talking about, you know, the role of you know, of policies and so and to do with the structure of entrepreneur education in Finnish universities, and so that has a very strong impact. It has very strong impact because there's a lot of metrics that was, you know, that is designed in, you know, uh, to force universities in, you know, to operate in this in a, you know, in in a certain way. And the curriculum that we use is an expression. What is it? It's an expression of that. So it is very important, and then also the government, the Finnish government understood the, you know, the important the importance of students, you know, in not only for the you know, for the economy, but for so many other things, you know, to the life of companies, regional development. So there is so much schools have to do. You know, or that expectation is, you know, is forced by certain legal statuses. So yeah. So the first thing I would like to bring here, you know, as part of that practices is, you know, here it's about to do with the professors and you know, and the teachers, and you know, you know, uh, of course, you know, this what is it has developed over time. You know, most of us, most of the especially in University of Applied Sciences, you know, teachers, the role of teachers is more than just say you go to the class and then you teach. No, you know, we see ourselves as a broker, because in every course that is being taught, there are the students involved, and there is always a case company. So we not only that students have to acquire, you know, certain skills, you know, we have to also work with the company that, it is part of a development activity, of developing a company, some part of a company's activity. So, so uh, the students, the company representative, which we call the commissioner, we usually work together in every part of our education. So then comes to one very important thing, which we have to, which universities work hard to mold. That is the ontological conception of entrepreneurship and entrepreneur education held by the teachers. This influences everything. It influences how the policy is interpreted, how curriculum are built, and how entrepreneurial education, is implemented. And so this is something that special attention is paid to. That the teachers have the right ontological, what is the conception of entrepreneurship, and then of course of entrepreneurial education. So we have, what is it, depending of, what we're talking about, you go to the traditional universities, this also goes very straight to, to the PhD level. And so we offer in the University of Applied Sciences, bachelor and uh, uh, master's degrees, and the same thing applies, even though the master's education is a little bit different from the bachelor education. But in any of the levels, entrepreneur education is applied and implemented, what is it, effectively. So, like I said, here, so the important thing about our own practices is the strong relationship between university and the industry. So we work very closely, with the industry in every part, and every school or every part is defined by the contents, by that relationship. So we also, as academic staff, we our activity goes beyond, in the class or within the university. We have to interact with companies and build good relationship with them, and so because they support that education, whether we work on an entrepreneur project, or whether we have a competition, or we want them to come to speak. There is so much things that goes on. And also industry provide a lot of work practices, internship, where that it's practiced by every school, but they support the in-school entrepreneurial activity. And when there is a case of startup, also many companies, they become, what is not only that, they become, what is it, uh, mentors, but they also can fund, a business, or even help open up market, and so that very project can get started. So this is also quite interesting. So there is this culture, even though we have strategies, and so, but culture is very much the unwritten part, you know, the unwritten part. But of course, it is, you can see it in that very, you know, in that very, uh, in the strategy statement that is, that is designed and what is it, applied in the school. So based on active and open interaction and shared values, you know, among personnel, staffs, partners, and so there is a lot of a lot of what is it, co-activity and mutual understanding that happens at that level. And so there is always this loop of feedbacks, assessment, audits, and award and acknowledgement. We acknowledge and award entrepreneurs, industry for helping. Teachers can be, acknowledged, also students. So there are so much of this activity going. But what is very important, uh, which also to do, of course, policies are being translated through strategy by the management of the school. Is the culture, that supports strong autonomous decision making at school and in the learning process. So that means that uh, every faculty, every department, and teachers are very autonomous in how the curriculum is being implemented. So there's so much room for creativity, and so because entrepreneur education cannot be cannot follow a rigid strategy. There must be some form of creativity, and this creativity make it possible that even teachers can flex and offer uh, offer uh, offer something unique, that really facilitate entrepreneurial learning. And that is why so many good results are achieved, in the process. So teachers, the roles of teachers are very important. I mentioned that not only the ontological conception of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial training and so, but the feeling of ownership, you know, it's also very important, and this gives every teacher or professors, the ability, like I said, to implement, um, entrepreneur education in an innovative and effective way, because the whole entrepreneur learning process must be must be creative and must be innovative, and also must be fun. So this is something that that happen. The sense of ownership, the feeling of ownership is very important, because professors go the extra line. They go the extra line. Over the years, that about 30 years I have been in the university, you know, we have created a lot of companies. We, with STEM, what is it, with students, and 11 of them I co-partnered. I was the the co-founder, and all the business that I've created, I created with my students. There are so much you need to do, because the entrepreneur education is not about concept. It's not about concepts only, it is so many, it's so many things, and that require each professors to go, what is it, to go the extra mile, to go the extra mile, of course, within the boundary of the curriculum, but you go the extra mile, support the student when they are pitching, when they are going for competition, when they are looking for partners. So there is so much mentoring going on, and you always broke. You don't do it for them, they do it by them, by themselves and for themselves, but you are there as the supporting pillar, asking the right questions, and giving them, what is needed for them to independently and creatively function. So we, like every other professors, we continuously update our competencies, and then of course another very important thing also is that the teachers are empowered to collaborate and support, you know, to support, what is it, the learning process, and to develop strong relationship with industry. It's one of the biggest resources that we bring in, that we have a huge network, also from the venture capital community, and you know, and so and it's also very good for teachers to who are involved with entrepreneurial learning to practice what they teach. You know, so we are very much involved in business development. We are involved. Most of us are also we invest in student companies. We are also innovation coach. We do so much, you know, and it's not only for, you know, also to advance our entrepreneurial uh, uh, endeavors, but also to build the right competence so we can support, you know, we can better support the students in their growth. So one thing I want to mention is competition. If you look at my profile, you know, I am, you know, innovation coach, but I also work as a judge in many innovation competitions, startup competition, both nationally and internationally. These are important, you know, important. Before this course, I was talking to a student who is working on a competition, a group of students from University of Vaasa. Sorry, they are working on competing. If they win, they will go to present their business model in Sweden. If they win, they will represent Scandinavia in, you know, to go to North America. And so each winning gives recognition. It brings what is it, a step further, and also strengthening these students, because when they go to competition, they get feedback from so many. They see other you know, uh, other participants in the competition. The benchmark, they are never the same. Excuse me. They are never the same. You know, their growth during the competition, you know, it's amazing. And there is so many levels of competition. You know, I have in my class, you know, ID generation competition, you know, and you know, you can do it in 20 minutes, you can do it in 1 hour. You know, uh, there is a business model competition, there's product and service innovation competition, there's business model design competition, there is startup competition. So we have so many type of competition going on, and these are very important. It's, you know, uh, it's a good event, you know, uh, for students to learn not only to pitch but to design, to, you know, to network, to test themselves, get feedback, you know, and it's we all in any event we do it ceremoniously. So there is always the competition. There is also a social event, you know, and it's not only about money, but money it's a very good incentive. So they always get a reward, and students like it. And especially in Finland, we have a lot of Scandinavian-based competitions. You know, what is happening, and most of them I have been working, and many of those Scandinavian-based competitions are sponsored by the European Union. So there are so many of those competitions. There are many reasons why, you know, those competitions are made. Uh, from exposure, from recognition. When the students compete, depending on the competition, they build network, they get exposed to venture capitals, and so there are sometimes when students even did not win, they will meet a company who will sponsor. We had a case where they didn't win, and but there was a company who was interested, and the company what is it, recruited the students and had an agreement with them that the company will fund you know the development of that very idea, and the company was very competent in that. So there's so much in the competition. And in Finland, we have so much competition, regional competition, in-school competition, national competition, and the biggest the startup competition is the one in Helsinki. Um, what's the name? Okay, I will remember that. It's organized by Alto. It's international, and it started. It's organized by students. But now I don't know how many hundreds of billions of venture fund can be uh, in the yearly competitions. And so this is something that students they grow, and it's important to it's a very important element of our entrepreneurial learning. So these are a few of the competition, and this is the slush. So the slush is the biggest. It's a global event. You even from Silicon, I think one of the biggest, startup, event in, it's run by students. It started by students. So this this one started. This Arctic design, it started from our unit. It used to be called Inno Marathon. You can see it used to be 1 week competition where students, they come from all walks of life. They are there in a hall for 1 week. And when they come, they have no business idea or business model. They they network with some other students. They build an idea, they pitch, and we have one. The biggest case about this was a company that is now worth. I think they make over 100 million. It was created in this. Created in this event when it was called what is it, Inno Marathon. So now it's now called Arctic Design Week, and it was started in our unit in Torino. And you have this polar pitching in Olu, and there are so many. These are one of the these are big regional and national event, and so these are very all students. If I remember the Inno Marathon, there's about 1,000 students participating for the 1 week event, and with about maybe uh, 200 companies involved. So they work with companies, and so this is something that that is it's a very core element of the entrepreneurial learning process. And when you talk about startup, these competitions are a fast track to startup. I have witnessed so many companies created through this process by students. But when they came to the art design, they did or the marathon, they didn't have any idea. You know, they meet, and then during the competition they develop idea. But this the polar peer pinching is different. You should already have a business model when you come, or a startup. Also, slush is the same. You need to have a business model or already a startup or an innovative idea which you can pitch in that. So this is a place more like where you can bring a prototype or a business model or a new startup to pitch and to look for fund. As you can see, it's there are from all over the world. There are tens of thousands of participants. There's tens of thousands of participants. And another thing that is very important, which we work a lot, it's also the startup ecosystem. And they are usually regional based. They're also very important. They're very important, aspect, because a lot of events are taking place outside of the university, and those events are being organized by the ecosystem, and usually there is an organization that are either publicly funded or by the regional business office or something that manages the networking platform of the startup, ecosystem, and they are regional based, and they are very important. They are very important, because when it comes to the startup, or there are also very limited thing that happens in the school. The students always get ideas from the startup ecosystem. They are working, they are exposed to so many things, and through that, they matured individually in terms of their own entrepreneurial growth, but also the path to startup. It's also there's a lot for them to benchmark. And so this is I take this because I didn't have the the time. This is for Tampere area. So in Finland we have different regions. So you can see an example of the ecosystem. It's a huge support system. It's a huge support platform. So you can see the government, the public sectors, knowledge creators. So you see the universities here. You see labs. These labs are innovation labs and hubs, and so. And then so you can see funds and investors, incubators. These are even, and then accelerators. They are outside of the university, and also the university may have their own incubator, or what we call pre-incubator. So you have hubs and co-working space, innovation campus, co-creation platforms, networking events, partner and support services. So there are so much in every region. Is different, and this is updated every year. It's updated every year. But you can see it's a huge resource. So this is, if students in this region are here, they function within this, they navigate. It's amazing. It's amazing. And every like this Pro Academy, it's what we call it's also within this is what is it, part of the university, Tampere University of Applied Sciences, but the students do not follow normal curriculum. They follow what they call entrepreneurial curriculum. So they create a business, and they develop and and grow with that business, and at the same time fulfill the requirement of the curriculum, that they can earn a degree. So so you can see so many. So there are, each of these factors you see here, they have their own model of how to support entrepreneurial growth, and how to support entrepreneurial university, and how to support entrepreneurial learning. So they do have their own model, and students are open to all these, and so this is very important. So if you come to this networking event, Mindtrek, it's part of the Technical University. Tribes, it's also part of the university. So you can see university are equally they are involved in all these activities. They are involved in all this activity, but it's outside of the university. But they are actively involved. So I want to talk about key pedagogical process that we use, quickly, and so like entrepreneurial learning does not happen, like I said, that we give lectures, and so no. So it is done.
Sorry, Professor Anthony, I have a comment here. Dennis in the chat. He says, he mentioned something. If you would like to read, it says it is like a toolbox for creating business. Dennis, would you like to say something? Do you have a question about it?
Oh, no, but I was just what Anthony showed, the innovation platform. The ecosystem. To me, this looks like a toolbox. If you want to build a business, this is like a toolbox. You have all the tools you need.
Thank you. I think you're absolutely right. I like the concept of toolbox because this is the the macro environment, and these are the most important what you can say tools, and these are open to students not only not only when they have an idea, they, of course they talk to their professors, but there are so many of these that they can exploit. Each of them offer different things depending on the type of group path the student chose. Sorry, here we have the police. The police is the police university. It's also here, so they are there because they also have their own university. Mhm. So, and also remember, many police graduate, they end up creating their own businesses, different form of security service, private security service, and so this is there is so much, and I can use one day to explain all this, to you, what they are and what kind of model they use to support entrepreneurial growth and to support startup. So I think a lot of the successes of entrepreneurship here and startup is based on this support system or support ecosystem. So I do agree it's a toolbox. So students, when they come, they have to learn how to use this. I also ask my students to, I take them to events, all these events, and we go through different elements of this so that they understand, the opportunities that is being offered by this tool. Thank you for the concept by this toolbox. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so this is very important, um, what is it like? This comment by Walt Disney that the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Yeah, so this, you know, learning by doing or thinking by doing, it's a very important aspect uh, of um, of our learning approach. Uh, we don't want to be perfect when we start, and we are not looking for perfection when you start a business or when you are thinking of entrepreneurial growth. Imperfection is very important because imperfection, encourage learning. It grows the thirst, to acquire knowledge and for creativity and innovation. So I picked the most important, and each of them are somehow related. Adventure based. This is a. I want to keep it simple in terms of defining the concept, and so I will show you some diagram and how it is conceptualized, and so. But adventure based. If you look at traditionally an adventure, they don't have everything they need. They don't have all the answers. So adventure based encourages you to take that first step to the unknown. Entrepreneurial growth is like that, you know, and also startup. At startup, you cannot have perfect because everything you have is assumptions. From the business plan, everything you have is an assumption. So there is not like a perfect assumption. Otherwise, we never move. If you wait for the perfect assumptions, so you move with the assumption that you have. And this is how the whole process of adventurism is. So adventurism is very close to lean startup approach or lean entrepreneurship. That you take that steps and you follow this iterative process. And one thing that is important, like I said, uh, we practice collaborative learning. That is nothing like individual work or no. You work in a group. The freedom there is that you can choose your group, but sometimes we automatically assign group to students because in real life we don't have that luxury to choose who we work with. But anyway, at startup you may do that. You choose your partners. but learning, to work in an imperfect conditions are very important. It strengthens your collaborative skills. So collaborative learning and collaborative knowledge production is what we practice. And another key factor in the success of entrepreneurial learning in Finnish education is what we call the integration of research, development, and innovation in the learning process. This is very important. Everything is defined by this integration. So 50% of a specific course has to do with this. So our students learn a lot of things. I will go move forward. This is the experiential learning, but that you will get slides. You will look at it, and so all these models in experiential learning, we have used it, in one way or the other. So you can see the model we use, we use for that. But what I want to show you, it's also this. These are models that we use, when we work in our class, and so you can see proof of competence and then group formation concept, provided by this, for startup ideas, and so we use this process, here, and so. But I want to go to talking about the R&D case, yes, which I started. So it is very important. So you can't understand our entrepreneurial learning process if you don't understand, the implication of R&D and innovation, play in that very process. It is all our education, is defined by that. So this is so it plays a huge role in developing students' entrepreneurial competence, because all our curriculum is bent towards this integration. So it provides students with practical experience in solving real-world problems, and also develop their entrepreneurial competencies. It also, of course, helps them with problem-solving skills, enhance, creativity and innovation in students, enhance students' understanding of market needs, commissioners' needs, and fosters the development of new products and services. So I will show you a diagram later what our students do when they work in the integration of research development and innovation. So there is something that is very important, which the core in the R&D integration is what we call development task. They get a development task, and that comes from their own startup process, or coming from a company, a real company with a real life problem. And it is done in every different type of course. So if you look at it, if we look at this very process, so you can see, when we get a problem from a company, so they have to study it, generate idea about the problem, define the problem, and then they move forward to select, different solutions, test it, that is proof of concept, and then again they go on and on, and to work on it, and then concept development, and then presentation. So we have a specific way of working, So this is something that I made some years ago. So you can see, uh, when students they work with development tasks, and this is very important because when you are talking about startup or entrepreneurship, it's not only about, say, you start a company. Starting a company, it's you are establishing an organization. Organization is not the business model. It's not the customer. So that is the last thing about starting a business. So you need to sow, the seed for startup. And the student, they do that. They do these things during this development task. So if you look at it, so they take charge of a task for a company or for their own what is it? It could be for their own innovation project. So we offer different ways. Our students can create cooperative inside the university where they can offer services and products. We used to have what we call labs, business labs, where they could test ideas. They create cooperatives. They sell their product. They vet product, develop, manage their own clients, make their own bookkeeping, have their own management board. They learn that in that business lab if they choose to go that way. so we have two type of area. If you look at here it's to do with subject-specific competencies. Somebody asked the question. Let me see the questions.
Yes, Professor Fernando Segarra is asking some.
Yeah, I'm trying to source the question. Can you read the question for me? Yeah?
Yeah, Professor, yes, I have one question. Is this,
Yeah.
do the students do a marketing study to establish the type of business they wish?
Of course. You can't start a business without research. Of course, they do that. And for us, they don't do that already when they are starting. It's a process they started already. Like, they started already testing ideas and testing with companies. They started already before they start. They know that product or service has a very strong market appeal and there is a market for it. So they cannot start a company without having a product or service that already have appeal, and they already have customers before they even create a business. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's right. Because in some opportunities, the students want to focus on the field, in industry field, so they will have to take as much information as they can from the market. So that was my question.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think in the autumn we are going to talk more about startup, and maybe my colleagues, my other professors, they will address that. Business and startup is all about information. You need to do. Now we're talking about database entrepreneurship because the market is getting complex, and everything is getting digital, and so you need to you need to acquire the right data. And our student already started earlier because we think that the proof of concept is not when you are starting the company. It starts from the idea level. You need to test, and they do that. They do a lot of legwork, to test whether online or physically in whatever possible to generate data and to get feedback and so it's an iterative process.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So if you look at this picture, so you can see, whether they start their companies or not, and I've, in the past 30 years, I have been following my students, and they are all either entrepreneurs or they are CEOs. So what they have learned, had a very impact of them because it grow these students to become business developers, to become business starters, and and so many things that they've learned to do. So if you look, by the end of their studies, our students, they know so many things. Because we have this process that force them, well, I wouldn't say force, this collaborative learning and collaborative knowledge productions and so they already know how enterprise make money, not only about the concept of value creation, but the value creation process. They know about business model, they can design them, they can develop them, they can convert business model into startup, they understand revenue logic, idea generations, they know how to innovate, service model, they know about commercialization, they know about value proposition and key selling points, how to solve problems creatively and how to think critically. And they also know how to recognize and exploit opportunity. Mm-hmm. So there are so many things. And another thing, they know how to sell, how to pitch, how to communicate, and and then of course to implement. So there are so many things they learn, and this is what I call the seeds, the seeds of what is it, of entrepreneurship. So so when they are in a context where you are talking about startup, they already know what to do. They already know what to do. And this is one of the things that we say it's unique about the Finnish education system, in regard to entrepreneurial learning. So they may not start company while they are studying, but at some time of their life, because they do have the entrepreneurial maturity, they can run a company, or they set up their own company, and so it is very much advised. So of course, we always have this part, personal entrepreneurial growth, or venture creation, so students can take any part of these, if they want. Well, this is just a conceptual model of entrepreneurial training, in University of Applied Sciences. This is something that I designed, to show. This is, to have a picture, in our school of what is happening. And if you look at here, you can see the R&D project. We have so many European Union sponsored projects, that what is it that we have, and and there are so many of the traditional courses are built into these R&D projects. All our European projects must involve students. There is no project that we don't involve students, because it's those projects, they are grant to develop the competencies of the student in that specific subject area, or in the in the entrepreneurial area, entrepreneurial development area. This is sorry, that is I forgot to take away a finished one here, but this is a picture I would like you to look when you get a copy of the slides, and so it gives it gives a lot of pictures, and so it looks like yeah, I have even though we lost a lot of time, so I was use the remaining time for questions. I skipped some slides, but I will be happy to get some questions. So any questions?
Does anyone have any questions? Are there any other comments related to the topic? I think that is a really good opportunity to ask to Professor Anthony about innovation, entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and also something that I will like to mention, we are also, we as professors, based on our experience, and so we create a lot of models, that support entrepreneurial learning. We do actively create models, and so, sorry, we do have a lot of these entrepreneurial learning models and entrepreneurial pedagogical approaches, which we have designed ourselves, because also we have to test these models and to see how it works, and then use them. And if anyone is interested about many of these publications we have made, I will be happy to share them. I will be happy to share them.